Hey, this is Pat, and today we're checking out the all-new Alpinestars Andes V4 Drystar Jacket. Now, the Andes line within Alpinestars' options for ADV touring has always been a popular one. They're starting to give us other options out there. Now, the Andes Drystar in the V4 that I have here is a little bit more cooler weather oriented. It has some ventilation for some intake vents, but it is a little bit cooler because they do have an Andes Air option. So if you are looking for something for the dead heat of summer, maybe check out the Andes Air. But if you are someone that's going to be going around touring maybe in late fall or early spring, maybe a little bit closer to the center of the summer, although like I said, it's a little bit more challenging to get airflow through here. This does come with a waterproof liner. This does come with a full sleeve thermal, so it can get you into the colder months of the year and has been a perennial favorite for a lot of ADV tours out there looking for that within Alpinestars' line. Again, the fourth generation of this being the V4 Drystar does come in men's as well as women's options, and it's coming in right around that $320 price point, which is up about $20, which makes sense as the market is right now. $20 increase for a lot of the features we're getting isn't too bad. Now, before I get too long-winded on a lot of the features that the Andes V4 offers, I wanted to talk about sizing, and first we're going to start with our female model. Up first, we have our female model, Jewel. Jewel is actually wearing a size medium. She's 5'3", 135 pounds, with a 38-inch bust measurement. We actually had her go down a size, so the sizing chart would recommend that she'd be in a size large, but as you can see, a medium is fitting her spot on with the thermal liner still installed. All right, and with Norman here in modeling our men's version of the Andes V4, Norman is 6'3", he's 220 pounds with a 44-inch chest. He almost always on their sizing chart is recommended a 2 extra large. He's wearing an extra large in the Andes V4, which is spot on. He's almost an extra large in everything across Alpinestars' line. So if you're referencing that size chart, go down one size and you should be all set, keeping in mind that he's wearing it right now in the extra large with the full sleeve thermal inside of there and all the armor and everything like that. So if you removed it, you'd have a little bit more space to cinch it down and hone it in, but it's fitting him spot on. Even if he goes in and adds a chest and back protector, which you can add in there, this would be the right size for him. Now, it does come in small to 6 extra large for men. It comes in 6 different colorways. But what I want to point out before we get started on all the features is just looking up at the shoulders where you see it is now using a lot of polyester ripstop in the key areas to help with the abrasion resistance. Now, still using a nice stretch material as well as a 450 denier polyester, but adding that ripstop is one of the key new features for the Andes V4 compared to the V3. So they're really reinforcing a lot of the key zones. It's still only CEA rated. Alpinestars, if you're listening, would love to see this get into the AA rating since it is designed for ADV and a little bit more touring oriented for the winter months. Would love to see that increase when it comes to the abrasion resistance. So just keep that in mind. But we'll start up at the collar, work our way through, talk about the things they updated, talk about a lot of the new features they have. I like this new sleek design. You can see it's actually a zipper garage up top to prevent the zipper biting into the neck, which is pretty common. It's a nice cinch all the way around the neck. It's not going to leave any airflow opportunities through there. You should be wearing a gaiter if you are running into the colder months or wearing like a neck guard or something like that to keep it out of there. But I like that they're cinching it up. It is microfiber lined. It does have a lot of soft stretch materials as well. Well, you're seeing that come down, a little bit of reflective, or I should say sublimated materials over the Alpinestars shoulder. At the shoulder though itself, you are getting Nucleon Flex Plus armor at the shoulder, at the elbow. This is nice, soft, malleable armor we've seen them use for the past about 5 years or so. It is CE level 1. It's super malleable, but it's very breathable too, so it's not going to hinder any of that airflow as you're riding into the cooler months. If you're out there in a hotter day in the cooler months, but you're wearing, say, the waterproof liner and the thermal in there, it's going to allow a little bit more air movement inside of the jacket. Looking down the sleeve, working our way down, you do have a cinch adjuster here at the bicep, 2-snap adjuster. One thing I also want to call out is just all this stretch material they added from the last generation didn't have. They added all this stretch material from the armpit all the way down to the cuff, just allowing a little bit more ease of movement, and you can cinch it down a lot easier. You can see you got the snap adjuster as well as the Velcro cinch adjuster down here at the forearm. So I like that they have added that in. Makes it super easy if you drop that thermal liner out. You want to add, cinch it in, get that excess away from flapping in the wind. I like that they added that, and I'll flip this over. A little bit more of that ripstop down the outer sleeve just to give you that impact protection and abrasion resistance while you're going down. It's not going to be something that just shreds open when you hit the tarmac. But one cool part they've been adding in a few other jackets is they've angled the cuff closure over here. The Velcro actually angles up, keeps it away from the cuff and the ulna, so you're not hindered in the riding position. But I like that they've given that. It's just a simple Velcro adjuster, but I like the angling. I think it's a really clever way to save space, but also make it more comfortable. You can go ahead and put that down. Up at the chest, it is a waterproof zipper main entry. They added that garage up top like I talked about before, but that's gonna help keep a lot of the water out, but there's also gonna be a gator underneath there just to keep it in case any gets through, which I like that they've added. Alpinestars logoing up on the upper left chest. If you are running a hydration pack, there is a loop on the right chest that you can go ahead and add it in. It's not something you can add a hydration pack to the jacket, but I like that they've added the loop just to keep it from flapping in the wind if you are going a little bit more ADV. I know people that have ridden in southern LA, out in San Diego as well, in the Andes V3 actually in the summer. It's not the best for airflow, so just keep that in mind. If you are using this for ADV, you're going to want something that's flowing a lot of air. If you're riding in the winter though, this could be a solid option. Just keep that in mind if you're going out in the summer or in a hotter climate. They redesigned that vertical waterproof pocket over here on the left chest. I like that. It's using a waterproof zipper over top of it as well. If you're really concerned about your valuables, just put them on the inside. The Drystar waterproof liner is going to be protecting it fully. So if you are looking for true waterproofing, just add it on the inside, but they do give a waterproof pocket and it is bagged inside there, so technically waterproof. I always just, for peace of mind, add it inside the jacket instead of outer pockets. You do have on each side, I'm just gonna lift up your arm and turn you a little bit here. You do have direct vents at the side. There's actually a slit inside the liner that allows it to go around the Drystar waterproofing without getting it in there, but you do have mesh. It does have a gator system on there and a simple zipper. If you turn to the other side over here, I'll actually show on this side, it's just a snap that's exposed when you don't have it open. So that's gonna be a pretty cool one. You can spin back to the front. So that's gonna be a cool option. We saw that with the Andes. The one thing I will say is there's no exhaust vents at the back. They took those away on this V4 generation. Alpinestars, if you're listening, would love to see them get added back in, but it does allow air to get straight through the body, right to the armpit, which is a key area, helping you cool off. There's just nowhere for that air to go after the fact. So keep that in mind. You got two lower top loading pockets on each side, not a hand warmer pocket, but it is easier for storage. Lots of storage on this, lots of stretch increase. I think that's the name of the theme here with the V4. You can turn to the side, hit that riding position. Speaking of the stretch, you can see this massive panel of stretch really pairing into the armpit that goes down to the cuff. But this massive panel here, really good for if you're running an airbag underneath it, you have the deployment, or just the riding position, getting into it without having to struggle. They redesigned the Velcro side adjusters a little bit more, I think, stylish from the looks of it on the sides, just a simple system on each side. And then at the hem, there is also a cinch cord inside of it if you really need to pull it in. If you are running in colder climates, that'll help stop air from going underneath of it or hitting your thermal liner if you're adding that in there, just keeping it a little bit warmer in those cooler months. You can turn to the back for me. At the top of the back, you got a hanger, Alpinestars logo, decent amount of that 450 denier polyester, and again, you can see the stretch at each shoulder blade, really just allowing movement for that riding position. And they redesigned the Alpinestars reflective logo and the lower pocket. If you're storing that full sleeve thermal away, you can stash it back here. It's now just a single slit over on the right-hand side pocket you can get into as opposed to the top loading, but I think that just helps alleviate excess material, keeps it nice and clean, really updates the style as well with the drop seat, which is made out of ripstop. And I'll even say, I like that they've added almost like a cargo flap here, so if you do fully stuff that pocket, it's not gonna be something that's pulling at the back of the jacket. It has its own expansion areas. Really cool design there. Once you turn to the front, let's unzip, show them the interior of this jacket. As he unzips, one thing I will call out is you get that rain guard, like I mentioned before, just in case any water gets through that waterproof zipper, it's gonna be nice and caught and then be able to trickle out. Interior, if there's a Drystar waterproof liner that you cannot remove, I'll just unzip this. It's a horseshoe style thermal liner, so it's not a destination. It's gonna zip all the way around your torso and come out, so I can't undo the entire thing. But you can see mesh inside. It is a full sleeve thermal. You do get the mesh, so a little bit of adjustment when it comes to the seasonality, but still, again, towards the cooler riding months of the year. Stash pockets, the ability to add a chest protector if you want, and then a zipper connector on the inside is really gonna be the main call out in here. Again, that Drystar waterproof liner is built between the mesh liner and the exterior, so you can't remove it, but you get that waterproofing, you get that direct venting. I just wish they had the exhaust vents at the back. You can go ahead and zip that up for me. So all in, considering it's a $20 increase, the Andes V4 is still a great option within the line, and I think Alpinestars is doing the right thing. They're giving you an air option, they're giving you the classic V4 Drystar for the cooler months, so they're really giving you exactly what you need for each riding season. You just gotta figure out exactly what riding temperatures are gonna be hitting. The Andes V4 will be a solid option for the colder months out there, especially with the stretch increase. I think they're doing a solid job on the overall styling as well. But if you still have questions, go ahead and click that info button. That's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about the new Andes V4. Don't just take my word for it. If you still have questions after that, if you're confused on sizing or which option is right within the Andes line for you, give our customer service agents a call. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining Norman and I and checking out the Alpinestars Andes V4 Drystar Jacket. I'm Pat. I'll see you in the next video.